Hello, darlings. Welcome. It's me, Jay Shanae, coming to you with another review. What are we reviewing? House of the Dragon, Season 1, Episode 6, called The Princess and the Queen. Thank you for clicking on my channel. And now let's get into the review. Like I said, this is Season 1, Episode 6. And I'm going to be looking at my notes here. It is called The Princess and the Queen. So the episode opens up where we see Alicent, and it's a 10-year jump. It's a 10-year jump, which was a little bit jarring for me, but I got used to it. Which I'm sure you guys did too. But we open up where she is in labor. We find out that it is her third. She has a boy, and it is her third son. And as soon as that baby comes out, she's haven't even got a chance to love on the baby good. And a person comes in and says Queen Alicent would like to see the baby. So Rhaenyra to me was like, oh my gosh, this again. And she tells people that, her maids, whatever you want to call them, hey, get me dressed. And she's just like, I don't want to hear it, just get me dressed. So she takes her baby and she starts off to go see Alicent. Laenor then meets up with her, and it's like they're having a conversation like, this again? We're going to turn around. I'm not going to let this happen. She's like, just come on. They get to some steps, and she just sucks it up and get up them steps. She gets to see Alicent. Alicent takes the baby, looks at the baby, inspecting the baby, and at the time we're not knowing. I mean, we can guess, but we're not knowing why she's wanting to do this. Viserys comes out, and we see that his whole left arm is now amputated. And he's just so happy that, he has another grandson. So they ask what the baby's name is, and Laenor says that baby's name is Joffrey. Named it after his slain lover from episode or two ago, I can't remember. And obviously he didn't go over that with Princess Rhaenyra, because she looked at him like, what you ain't okay, whatever. So because she wanted to put on a united front in front of Alicent. I don't think too much of her dad. She cares about what her dad thinks, but she don't want to be seen as like divided in front of Alicent, because she already know they have a tense relationship. Anyways, so Alicent then gives the baby to Laenor, saying, oh, maybe one day you'll have a baby that looks like you, has your features, which is letting us know none of her three sons are Laenor's. Not a big surprise, because we know how Laenor is. He is a homosexual, and not a big surprise. But we find out her baby daddy is Sir Harwin Strong, not Kristen Cole, which this 10 years has passed, so, and I'm sure everything that happened in the previous episode, of course, has something to do with the relationship now. So she takes the baby back to her room, I believe, and lets Sir Harwin see the baby. Laenor comes in there, and it's like, come on, boys. And he's like, he's cool with it. It's like they all know, and they all have an understanding, and they're all cool. So he takes the older boys out so Harwin can see the latest baby, Joffrey, and he talks to Rhaenyra and stuff like that, and looks at the baby, and he looks like a proud papa. So let's see what happens after that. Also I wanted to mention how in previous episodes, Alicent, when she was having her babies, of course she had her kids before Rhaenyra, but they're not, her older kids is not too much, Rhaenyra's older kids aren't too much younger than Alicent's kids. But in the early episodes, we would see Alicent with her kids, but at every chance she had them, they were always crying, and she passed them off to a nanny. And to me, she just had no connection with her kids. To me, it was like these kids are just, are just my duty to do. I don't have no love towards them. I don't feel no connection towards them. I'm not saying that she don't love them, but not to me as much as Rhaenyra loves her sons. So, anyways, let's see. Alicent then speaks to the king about how many more kids that she has to have before you open your eyes, basically, that these are not Laenor's kids. Like, why do you refuse to acknowledge the truth of her nature? She says, and King Viserys don't want to hear it, and he shuts her down by saying, like, if anybody else questions their parentage, I'm cutting their tongues out. So Alicent goes and talks to Sir Criston, and they talking bad about Rhaenyra and everything, and because everyone knows the truth, and they're just not saying it. And Alicent is frustrated that everyone can see the truth, but they're acting like they don't see it because they know King Viserys is ignoring the truth. So we're going to ignore the truth too if he's going to ignore it. He's the king. So, okay, let's see what happened after that. I just want to say Alicent just doesn't like that, she had to suck up everything and she did her duty, but Alicent gets to do whatever. Rhaenyra gets to do whatever she wants, and she's being sloppy. She's being sloppy about it. And it's not cute. It's not cute. So, what happens, next? We go to, I think, Pentos, and, we see Daemon and Laena flying their dragons, and we see that Laena is pregnant. Mind you, I said it's a 10-year jump, so they previously have kids. They have 2 twin girls. And they were out riding their dragons and stuff, and once they got off their dragons, Laena had said to them, I know you. I can tell you're not 100% happy you missed your brother. I miss my brother. I don't want to be here anymore. And, yes, we're having a good life here. And yes, they're paying for stuff. But they're using us. They're just using us for protection. They're using us for our dragons. And he's like, well, we're getting compensated. And we're up here reading books. Damon's reading books. They're drinking wine. They're eating good. So he feels like it's a good situation. But she wants to then was talking about how she wants to go back to her ancestral home, so her kids will know of their lineage. And he was like, no, we're staying right here. She wants to go to Driftmark, and she wants to go to King's Landing to see her brother, and she knows that he wants to see Viserys too. He's just a guy, not wanting to admit it. So we then go to let's see. We go to the kids practicing in the yard, and when I say the kids, I mean Rhaenyra's kids, and Alicent's kids in the yard, and they're practicing with Sir Criston Cole, but he is favoring Alicent's children. Because he's still salty after 10 years. That I don't know, they don't say that Rhaenyra turns him down or anything, or I don't know if he's still bitter about sleeping with her and all the stuff that he was saying last episode. I don't know why he's still bitter. It's 10 years. So anyways, he's loyal to Alicent now, and he's favoring Alicent's kids. Yes, but does Alicent's kids come before Rhaenyra? Because Rhaenyra is the king's firstborn. But what does that make the kids though? I think, okay, let me not get into that. So anyways, we see that Sir Criston Cole is favoring Alicent's kids, and Sir Harwin Strong calls him out on it. Calls him out like, if you're going to teach these kids, you need to teach all of them and stop being biased. And he's like, we'll have the oldest, Alicent's oldest and Rhaenyra's oldest go up against each other. And he is kind of giving advice to Alicent's oldest son. I think it's Aegon. Yes, Aegon, to cheat. And he was cheating at first and was, getting with, I think his name is Jace. Yeah, Jace. Jace is the oldest of Rhaenyra's kids. And he was getting the best of Jace until Jace got angry. Jace then started to get up on Aegon. And then, Aegon did a move that Criston Cole was, telling them to do, and it was not right. So Sir Strong had to come in and regulate the situation. He took a hold of Aegon, and Aegon's like, don't you dare, who are you? Don't you dare touch me. And he's like, this is not fair. You guys aren't fair. You're not being fair. And then here's Sir Criston Cole. Because he knows Sir Strong is a hothead, and obviously his kids are too, he digs at him because he knows he's going to attack him. That's what he wants. He wants to be attacked by Sir Strong to get him kicked out, to do something bad towards him. He knew something was going to happen to him if he attacked him. So anyways, he says, "Oh, the way you look after Rhaenyra's boys, it's like a brother or a loved one, or like a father." And once he says father, he loses it, and he beats up on Sir Criston Cole. Now, mind you, Criston Cole could probably get some hits in, but he just lets him hit him because the king's out there watching. A lot of people's watching. So after that happened, he had to be taken to the side by the Hand, which is his father. Lord Strong had talked to Harwin saying, what are you doing? You are bringing embarrassment to our house. You are bringing rumors to our house. You're going to get us not just yourself, but you're going to get those kids killed. Not just yourself, you could get those kids killed. You killed. Me killed. Maybe Rhaenyra killed. But you're embarrassing me. And he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. He said, you know what we're talking about. I'm not going to say it. You know what we're talking about. Just because King Viserys turns a blind eye to what's really going on doesn't mean that people don't know what's really going on. And he's like, well, I wish you could turn a blind eye to everything going on. And he said, are you crazy? That's what I've been doing. Is turning a blind eye to your sloppiness. You and Rhaenyra's sloppiness. I've been turning a blind eye to it. Mind you, Rhaenyra had came up the steps, I think, to talk to Sir Strong, but she ended up listening to the conversation he was having with his dad, and she was like, oh no, we gotta get up out of here. Goes to Laenor. She then goes to Laenor and said, hey, we gotta get up out of here. we got to get up out of here. He's like, oh, why? What's going on? She was like, a storm is coming, and we got to get out of here. There's rumors floating around, and they getting close to home. And he's like, no, I think he was talking about wanting to fight in the Stepstones or something, and I've done my duty. I need a break and this and that. And she was like, I need you right now. We need to be a united front at the moment. We need to be in a united front. There's rumors going around out here that is detrimental to me maybe even getting on the throne. And he was like, yes, but my boyfriend is out there fighting, and he's telling me these people are free and this and that, and I'm a person of the sea. And she had to lay down the law. I am saying, look, I am your princess and the heir to the throne. I command you to stay by my side. I ain't trying to hear that right now. It's like she knows what's coming, and he's just doing what he's been doing for years. And because she says it, she's like, you've been riding the finest horses, you've been buying this, you've been buying that, you've been having sex with the finest boys, you've been drinking the finest wines and everything, and I said nothing. Yes, you done your job, but I really need you right now to cut it out, because it's starting to get dangerous. And she had to put the law down, saying, look, I didn't want to do that. I'm the princess, and I order you to stay. So he's like, I mean, what more could he have done after that? What more could he have done after that? So let's see. Back in Pentos, Daemon and Laena, they were talking about, Rhaenyra's new baby. And I already mentioned how they miss each other, so let's skip that part. And let's see, what's next? Oh, we go back to King's Landing, and there's a small council meeting. They're talking about, I think the Stepstones again. And they was like, this again? I thought Daemon handled this. And they was like, well, Daemon is not there anymore. And people started to come back and take it over and this and that. Alicent puts her 2 cents in. And then Rhaenyra says something. And Alicent's like rolling her eyes like, oh my God. Like, whatever. And then Alicent's like, I'm done with this. Everybody, we're just missed. And then Rhaenyra stands up and said, please, I want to say something. Real quick. Damage control. It's damage control. And she's like, Alicent, I just wanted to say that we haven't gotten along, during this time, but I want to make amends with you. And, I was thinking that, when I come into power, my heir, which is Jace, I want to offer you, Jace to marry your only daughter. And, hopefully that will smooth things over. So Alicent's like, whatever. But the king is like, yes. That's a good proposition coming together. I'm loving it. And Rhaenyra could tell that's not enough. So she's like, oh yes, and when my dragon has another clutch of eggs, then, her only son at the time that didn't have a dragon, which is, I think it's Aemon, which they were, teasing him about. Rhaenyra's kids was teasing him in the beginning, and his brother Aegon was teasing him in the beginning about not having a dragon. She was like, when my dragon has a clutch of eggs, he can get anyone, he can take any egg he wants from that clutch. How about that as well? So while she's saying that, Rhaenyra's boobies start to leaking, and she just points it out. Alicent points it out to everybody, and the rest of the time in the meeting, she was like holding herself so the milk wouldn't leak through. Mind you, she just had that baby, and that was just it. And she was like, it is. Alicent was talking to Viserys, saying it's so funny how when the fox is caught in the trap, how they trying to do everything to get out the trap. She's like, I could see through all her offerings because she knows that, these rumors is getting worse out here. They're getting worse out here on the streets. So, after that, I just think this is such a good show, and I'm trying to find a way to not talk so long about it. But I haven't been excited about a show like this in a long time. Probably like since The Boys and since I got into anime. I would say last year. Like heavy last year. So when my shows of anime had stopped, which was I got into the usuals, Demon Slayer, what else? The one with Eren Yeager, can't think of his name, and Spy Family. So they all kind of went off at the end of the year. I know Spy Family's back. I haven't watched it yet. But since then, I haven't felt like good TV has been made or has been playing. I haven't seen the Lord of the Rings show or Power of the Rings show. I watched a few episodes. It's okay. But a lot of it doesn't make sense or is a bit boring. But I love Game of Thrones. I think I got into Game of Thrones season 5 or something like that. And I was disappointed with the last season. No, season 7. I didn't have so much of a problem with like I did with 8. So I really, really like this show, and I hope that I can grow with being a better reviewer, grow with this show, because I'm hoping there's going to be more seasons. I hope they're not like rushing I don't think they're rushing everything in one season. I think there's only 10 episodes, but I'm hoping that there will be more seasons to cover. I have not read the books either. I want to make that apparent. I haven't read the books either. So anyways, we got back to, we were talking about Lena and Daemon, and we're at the part where she was in labor. She was in labor because she was pregnant. She previously had twins with Daemon and was pregnant. And I like this actress and everything. And she was talking about wanting to go back to Driftmark to show her kids their ancestral home. She, like I said, she missed her brother, and she knew that Daemon missed Viserys. And she did not want to stay in Pentos just getting fat. She said she wanted to die like a dragon rider. Now we get to her being in labor. Let's see. Oh yeah, she also has said to Daemon, I know you don't like just reading about other men that done stuff, that like you want to be in the books too. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to be in the books too. You want to be remembered too. I can't remember what that saying is, to where it's like you don't just want to read the adventures of better men. You want to be the better man, or I think you understand what I'm saying. Anyways, so let's see. Okay, I already said that part. Let me go on to the next part. Oh, okay. The next part is we see Sir Strong's father go to, I think it was after the council meeting, go to King Viserys, and Alicent was in the room as well, but he was talking about resigning. He was like, what are you resigning for? He said, because of the actions of my son and how uh, his actions was in the courtyard. I can't. I have to resign. I have to resign. And he's like, your son's already been reprimanded. He's not on the King's Guard anymore. What are you talking about? He's been reprimanded. You don't need to leave. And he's like, I feel like it's a situation going on here that you're not seeing because you don't want to see, and it's bringing shame to my name, and I don't feel like I'm being biased or whatever the case may be. I think that's what he was wanting to say, but Viserys was not hearing it. He was basically saying, you're not going to quit. I don't want you to quit. I'm the king. You're not going to quit. So he relents. Lord Strong relents and says, well, let me get my brother, let me get my son set up. Let me travel with him back to our ancestral home, Harrenhal. And once, I set him up and everything like that, I'll come back and I'll do my job. And he says, okay, cool. That good compromise. You can go back home and everything, but you're coming back as the hand. And Alicent was in there just waiting, just foaming at the mouth for him to say the real reason why he was resigning. And he didn't give her that, but everybody knows. Everybody knows what it is. Viserys knows what it is. It's just he's not accepting it. He's not accepting it. And Laenor knows what it is, but he doesn't care. I mean, people do that all the time. Have other people's kids, and somebody else raised them. It may even give them their last name. So that's what Laenor. That's what Laenor, I feel, done to Strong's kids. He was like, I'll adopt your kids and give them my name. But I guess blood was thicker than that back in the day. I mean, they still have the Targaryen blood. That's what's important. They can still command dragons. Her kids can still command dragons, and that's what's important. So, anyways, Alicent being frustrated with that situation and him not completely telling the king what was the real reason he was leaving. She goes to complain to the hand's son, Larys. I think that's how you say his name, Larys. And she was like, he almost confessed. He didn't do it. He didn't confess though. And he was like, oh, well, he's just loyal to a fault. And she's like, my dad, if he was here, he would tell him the truth. He would just tell him the truth. He wouldn't be afraid to tell him the truth. And, I'm like, okay, he was up here talking about, being biased about the situation and not being able to, be the king's hand because maybe he would lean towards certain biases because of his grandkids with the king's daughter. And I'm like, when Alicent was talking about her dad being the hand, don't you think that's bias as well? That's bias as well because he's going to be on your side. But she doesn't care because she feels like no one else is on her side, besides Larys. She doesn't care that nobody else, she feels like nobody else is on her side because of they're just being blind to the truth, because people are being blind to the truth because Varys is the king. So basically, Larys, I think, how do you say his name? Larys? I don't know. It's basically saying to her, well, maybe something might happen. Maybe something might happen. Who knows? So, let's see. We see Laena going to labor. We go back to Pentos. We see Laena going to labor. And she looks like she's having a difficult time. With the labor. So the Maester comes to Daemon, just like the first episode, and tell Daemon, if you want the babe, we're gonna have to cut her open. And he said, well, will she live? And he's like, he's not going to live. So it harkens back to the first episode where kind of Viserys chose the baby because it was a boy over his wife, even though he really loved his wife, and he's still going through, because we see at the end he's still kissing his old wife's ring. I feel like that's a lot of the reason why he still is biased towards Rhaenyra, of course, because of what he did to her mom. Yes, I believe he loved her mom as well, but he also kind of did her dirty because he wanted that boy to live. So I believe that they were. I believe that Laena had heard what the Maester was saying about, like, you know, we're gonna have to cut her open if you want the baby, and she's not gonna make it. And she then gets up, and Daemon's looking for her. She's gone. We then see her outside. She ran to her dragon Vhagar and said, "Dracarys." I said, "Oh no, 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 no." And the dragon looked at her like, "What are you doing? Did you just say Dracarys? Did you just say Dracarys? I don't think I heard you right. Dracarys, Vhagar! Dracarys!" As soon as Daemon gets out there, it's too late. Too late. Laena's gone. But she went out like a boss. She went out how she wanted to go out. So I applaud her for that. So we then see Sir Harwin Strong say goodbye to Rhaenyra and his kids, and because he got dismissed off the Kingsguard, and you know, he's telling the boys, you know, "I'll see y'all again." I said, as soon as you said that, he's dead. As soon as someone says, "I'll see you later," we're not seeing him anymore. They're gone. So I already knew. Sir Harwin leaves. Jace comes up to his mom. She's like, "Oh, so we're gonna send ravens, and we're gonna keep in touch with him. You'll see him again." And she says, "Mom, is Sir Harwin Strong my daddy?" And she says, "Listen, you're a Targaryen. That's all that matters. You're a Targaryen. That's all that matters." Basically saying to Jace, yes, that's your father. But what means more is that you're my son and you're Targaryen. And that's what matters, you know. Because he can still command dragons even though Strong is his dad. So that happens. Then we see like I said, we go to Harrenhal. Oh, before we get to Harrenhal, Rhaenyra goes to Laenor after Strong leaves and says, "We gotta get up out of here right now." Especially because Strong is gone. Strong used to be her, you know, Kingsguard with her all the time. And to me, I feel like she's in more danger because, number one, the rumors are getting bigger. People know. And number two, now he's gone. Even if someone comes at me, he can't defend me. He can't protect me. And Laenor, you're just everywhere, you know. So Rhaenyra comes to Laenor and say, "We got to get the heck up out of here. We got to go. You said when the storm is raging, we got to get out of here. The storm is raging, sir. We got to get going." And he's like, "Well, what? I thought you said we got to stay here because Alicent is whispering stuff in your dad's ear and you." But the only reason why he was saying that is because because that's where his lover was. And he wanted to see what's, you know, she peeped the game. And she said, "Well, you know, also bring Sir Carl, because we're going to need everyone who can fight, because there's a fight coming up, and I know it. Let's get the heck out of here to Dragonstone. Pack your stuff. Let's go. Sir Carl, get your stuff. Let's go. Throw it in the back. We're going to Dragonstone." Right now. So, We then see the Strongs trying to get out of... No, I think he was trying to rescue his dad. We see the Strongs being overcome by a fire and then eventually fiery debris falling on them. Of course, they're dead. Then we see Lena's daughters crying over her death. Also, a fiery death. So we see those two things happening. You know, 2 deaths by fire. And it's getting hot. The season is getting hot. We see that. And then we see Rhaenyra and her family and her crew pull up to Dragonstone. We here now. We at Dragonstone. Then after that, we see Queen Alicent and Larys talking. And we know he killed his family. Alicent know he kills his family. She was like, they're dead. And he's like, oh yeah, what my queen wishes, basically she gets. She said, I ain't wish for this. He's like, now go and call your daddy. Call your father. Hush up, girl. You already know. I just know when it's time and you owe me a favor, I'm going to get that favor back. Hush up. Now call your daddy. Call your daddy. Get him up here. Get him. Let him be the new hand. And, the hand again. Let him be the hand again, which I don't know why Varys would even agree to that. You dismissed him for a reason. Why not just get somebody else? Oh, I don't understand. But, anyways, I said, oh Lord, Alicent, you know you made a mistake because this guy is, number one, dangerous. He didn't kill his father and his brother. He's dangerous, number one. Number two, he was like, oh, you know what was up. Don't be stupid. She's like, I didn't want that. Girl, come on. Now you owe this man, and now this man knows the secret. You're going to eventually have to kill him. She's going to eventually have to kill him. And I believe that, you know, he's going to get killed eventually because he's just going to overdo his boundaries. But I forgot to also mention how when we had in the beginning of the episode where the kids was playing a joke on Alicent's second son, Aemon, and Aegon was a part of it. And they find out that the joke was played on him. Alicent finds out and goes to Aegon's room, and he's in there, you know, relieving himself out of a window. She slaps the mess out of him, saying, look, I don't care what you do to your brother. I don't care what you do to him, what you say to him, whatever. Whatever you do, do it behind closed doors, but you're not going to do it in front or in public. You're going to be a united front behind the scenes. And to me, it's just like she has no kind of loving motherly love in her heart for her kids. And she's trying to explain to him, look, you got to get it together. You're the king's first son. And he's like, okay, and she was like, you could be in line for the throne. He was like, I don't want that. I don't want that. She said, what do you think? What do you think will happen if Rhaenyra gets the crown and she feels like someone can challenge her or her kids' parentage? What do you think is going to happen to you? She's going to kill you for her claims to be better. For her claim to be better. She's going to put you to the knife, put your brother to the knife, maybe even me. She's going to kill us. If you don't get it together. You don't get it together. I'm tired of you acting crazy like this. Get it together. He's like, I don't want that. I don't want that. She's like, too bad that you don't want that. But that's what's going to happen. Because when she becomes the queen, or after your dad dies, people is going to challenge her. And they're going to say, you're the king because you're the first male son. And she was like, I don't care what you want. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. And you and your brother and sister could be dead for her claim to be better. So she's putting... It seemed to me that they had a good relationship with the nephews, which is Rhaenyra's kids. But she's putting things in their head as kids to make them go against their blood. Yes, they could ignore her, but she's their mom and she's the queen. And I think they're more in fear of her than a fear of love. Like, a reverence fear. It's more of a fear like, I'm scared of my mom, so I'll do what she says. So I forgot about that part. But it was a good episode. Hopefully I can do the next couple episodes in the next 2 days. I'll see how this does. Please, if anyone has any suggestions on anything, I know I'm not the best at this, but I really do have a passion for people who take their craft seriously, actors, people who do garments on movies and TV shows, people who does the staging and all the arts and crafts and everything you see that comes together, the filming, the VFX artists. That stuff I really love. I really love that type of stuff. I love that type of entertainment, and I appreciate actors. I appreciate wardrobe stylists. I appreciate people seamstress who make those beautiful outfits. Alicent and Rhaenyra has not had a bad. Nobody has had a bad. I love Daemon's outfits. I love seeing that. I love seeing sets. It makes me think like, oh my goodness, is this real? Is this CGI? You wouldn't know if it's CGI or not because it looks so good. The dragons, all that. I just have an appreciation for people who take their craft seriously. The writers, because on the Rings of Power, I feel like that is a big problem. Is the writing on that series. But I just love people who are passionate about their job and they're good at it. So thank you so much. If you're still here, like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate you guys. God bless.